Hi, I'm Mars from StrataGames, and today we are playing Turbo Fog. This is a deck donation from Guidonic. I really appreciate you sending the deck. I can't say I have a lot of experience playing Turbo Fog, which I'm sure Guidonic is aware of, but I'm always up to a new challenge. This is pretty much the exact list they sent me, although their list had 61 cards, so I did make the decision to take one of them out. But otherwise, since I'm not super familiar with the archetype, I didn't want to go ahead and change things up and ruin anything. But the main point of the deck is to use our Fog spells, Moment's Peace, Tangle, Actual Fog, and also Weather the Storm to gain enough life or prevent damage in order to survive as long as possible, locking your opponent out from winning the game as we accumulate land drops. We're going to do that obviously just by having cantrips, brainstorms, preordains to be able to hit our lands, as well as growth spirals to ramp us a little bit. We also have accumulated knowledge, Behold the Multiverse, and of course Lorien Revealed as additional card draw. Arcane Denial is a nice way for us to recoup the card that we spend while actually milling our opponent out a little bit. Ideally, if they're playing a deck that just plays a bunch of creatures, it doesn't matter if we give them more cards because we can still just fog those away. This deck also has a 1 Muddle the Mixture, which obviously can just counter an instant or sorcery, or can transmute for a fog, growth spiral, or an accumulated knowledge, depending on what we need. And for our win cons, we have 2 Jace's Erasure. Whenever you draw a card, you can mill your opponent 1, and Stream of Thought, which just mills opponent for 4, shuffles cards from our graveyard back into our deck, and we can replicate it if we have tons and tons of mana. They also said they wanted to keep this Library of Lang in, which says you have no maximum hand size, and if you have to discard a card, you can put it on top of your library instead of your graveyard. The no maximum hand size can definitely be relevant because we can draw quite a few cards if we get all our accumulated knowledges or a bunch of Lorien Revealeds off, and it can just be really nice against hand attack like Duress, which our opponent is inevitably going to be bringing in for game 2, but we can just put that card right back on top of our library. In our land base, we have a Bojuka Bog and Desert, Quandrix Command, and Radiant Fountain as our various utilities. Simic Growth Chambers to recoup some of those ETBs, a Tangled Islet to get our green mana off Lorien Revealed, and 4 Thornwood Falls. And our sideboard, 4 Blue Elemental Blast, 4 Counter Spells, and 3 Murmuring Mystics, as well as 2 Relics of Progenitus, another Bojuka Bog, and a Radiant Fountain. So, I'm interested to see how this goes. Let's take it for a league and see how we do. Alright, here we are. We have a couple fogs, land drops for a few turns. I think this seems reasonable enough. As far as I know, generally you want to make sure to save your fogs for big attacks. Even if you're taking quite a bit of damage, you can often save them for a lethal attack. So we won't probably be playing those very early, but obviously we'll see what we're up against. They do mulligan to 5, so that can obviously give us even more time. And I'm going to do my best to play as quickly as possible because this very much could be something that goes to time. Okay, so they are on Heroic. I'm going to just leave up Fog from right at the beginning then, because it's totally reasonable that they could just give this they could give it Vigilance and Steady Footing or something so that they could get an 8 power attacker, in which case I might want to Tangle it. Ethereal Armor and Hyena Umbra, yeah, it's going to be 5, but it doesn't have Vigilance. I'm going to just Tangle here. It taps it down for 2 turns. They're a deck that plays Vigilance, so I think getting the Tangle in while I can is pretty good. Then we're going to Preordain here. Library doesn't seem necessary. Accumulated Knowledge could be good. I think we just Thornwood Falls. I could go for the Growth Chamber, but the Growth Chamber doesn't have anything exciting to pick up at the moment, and I'd like to pick up like a Gain Life land or something. There's just a regular old Fog, and we can hold up Accumulated Knowledge. Sure, let's just bounce this Thornwood Falls. They're going to Benevolent Blessing. Give it blue. Fair enough, just in case I have any bounce spells. It's 7 damage. I think I'll just take that hit and go for an accumulated knowledge here. Another Moment's Peace, Thornwood Fall, and pass the turn. Ethereal Armor. They're going to try to get to it being lethal this turn if possible. 13 damage. So here's where I'm not 100% sure. I kind of feel like I should just take it. And we're going to try that because it's not lethal and then we can just fog every single turn from now on is the goal. Let's see, 8. I could Lorien and hold up Fog here, but I'd have to discard. I don't know if that's terrible, but I think we'll just wait on it. Since we have a Growth Spiral for this Desert anyway. Cast a Moment's Peace and the Spiral. Put a Desert into play. I could Weather, but that's only for a little bit. I don't think that's necessary. Brainstorm. Here we can just Lorien. Yeah, I have another Moment's Peace if I need it, or if I get a land here, I can just flashback the other one. Untapped land, that is. Radiant Fountain, sure. Flashback the Moment's Peace, and Behold the Multiverse. I guess we're just looking for win cons now, so might as well just foretell that, I suppose. Play a Forest and pass. We do have a handful of more turns that will be fine here. Let's cast a Moment's Peace. I think I'm going to Scry here because I want to use my mana efficiently, and then I can foretell or cast this on our turn. I don't hate more land drops, but I don't think that's what we need at the moment over our win cons. Arcane Denial is fine. Let's go for Behold. Growth Spiral, I don't think we need, but Accumulated Knowledge is a draw 2, so let's keep that. Lorien Revealed, let's go for a Knowledge. Growth Chamber, there we go. Now I'm actually discarding though. Or I could just cycle the Lorien. I probably don't need tons more card draw here. Oh, I can also cycle this Muddle the Mixture. I was forgetting about that. For like Jace's Erasure. Let's go for the Growth Chamber on Fountain and Muddle for Jace's, and then we're gonna Fog. I could also just get an Accumulated Knowledge for even more card draw. I think we'll go for the Jace's Erasure. We have a Brainstorm after all, and then we'll just... Do I even need an Arcane Denial? I don't really think so. I think we'll just discard that. Go for a Fog here. They play a Plains. Radiant Fountain. We got Library. Now we won't have to discard anymore. Play Jace's Erasure. Let's see. We have Moment's Peace from the grave, but actually we do need to find some other fogs. There's Moment's Peace. Can I save targets? Perfect. And always heal. Oh, I didn't realize this was a May. Is there no always yes anymore? Okay, they concede. All right, so we got game one. They were not having it. Do we need any of this? Pachuca Bog hits like Sentinel's Eyes, but that's kind of it. We're never going to put a Sentinel's Eyes in the graveyard, so I think Radiant Fountain's just better as an untapped land. Counterspell. I mean, this is kind of the epitome of a deck that we're built to win against, I think. Library doesn't seem super necessary, though, so I guess we'll bring in a Counterspell. Like, they're not going to have discard for us, and I think no maximum hand size is irrelevant. And an extra counterspell could, you know, if they don't have a turn 1 creature, I guess they'd have to have not a turn 2 creature either. But if somehow they don't have creatures early enough, and then we can just, like, counterspell their creature, I guess that's something. I don't know. I'm trying to think what they would even do for this. They'd have to, like, splash Flaring Pain, and that seems impossible. Bunch of lands, no fogs, just a whole bunch of land drops. A little bit of card draw. They are pretty fast, though. They mulligan to 6. Kind of feels like if we just have a couple fogs in our opening hand, we're not going to lose very often. I think we mulligan this. Yeah, this one looks better. Some card draw, some fogs. Although I don't really want to get rid of a third land. I guess the denial might not be necessary, like we said. No one drop. Desert. Probably not going to matter, the desert. They have probably some 1 toughness creatures like Crow and Crusader. Skyguard, that's the one. But I don't think we're likely to get it. Which, yeah, like I could play the desert here, but... What are the chances they attack and don't cast anything? Almost nothing. So I think I'd rather just get the Growth Spiral down. And even if they somehow did, they just wouldn't attack with this, which, like, okay, we saved 1 life, but that it does not matter. So obviously if they just play like triple Ethereal Armor here, maybe I'd just Tangle instead. Protection from green and from blue, that's fine. I probably will not be targeting your creature at all. And another Ethereal Armor. Okay, how much is that? 10? That's a lot, but it's not so much. I think we just Growth Spiral still. We could do the same thing we did last time, which is Tangle, because if they have Vigilance on their next turn, the Tangle gets less valuable. So maybe I should have Tangled for that reason, but I really wanted to ramp there. And then Growth Chamber is honestly a nice draw. I get to Preordain and then Growth Chamber it back. Tangle and a Weather. I think Weather's not... It's going to be really hard to like keep up against like a 10 power flyer. So I think we just keep the Tangle and not the Weather. The fact that it's a flyer is irrelevant. Just the 10 power is the main thing. But if they just attack here, we get to Tangle by 2 turns. I could go to 1, which is what I did before. I mean, I went to 2, but like, I think, again, because we're trying to play around the Vigilance, I think this is probably fine. Although if they play another creature, they'd have to play another creature and like an Ethereal Armor on it for it to be super scary, but there is a Skyguard. We're running out of card draw, so let's get a Brainstorm Hope to hit here. Okay, Growth Spiral's not bad. Arcane Denial's fine. I guess we can put back these lands. Oh, I did this in my upkeep? Well, that was not intentional. That upkeep stopped getting me a little bit. I mean, it's not bad, but now we can play the desert. Maybe it does matter because of this Skyguard. We can Growth Spiral a land onto the battlefield. Sandstone Bridge. Okay, makes it 2/2 with Vigilance. That's not very scary. So I'm just going to take 2. Growth Spiral. Put in the Falls. Now we draw. Muddle the Mixture. We haven't seen an Accumulated Knowledge yet because I just want more card draw. So let's transmute. Like, Jace's Erasure doesn't do enough at this point. I could just get Accumulated Knowledge, which is just to draw 1, but it makes the next ones better. I don't really see another better card. Like, I could get a Growth Spiral, but the land drop's kind of irrelevant. Yeah, I think we just go for a Knowledge here. They just swing with this guy because we have the desert. We're going to Tangle again. I probably will Arcane Denial something here just so that we get a card draw of our own. Sentinel's Eyes is the one that comes back. But it is Vigilance, which could be relevant against Tangle, and currently they can't get it back. Sure. Although we are just giving them more cards, but I mean, if they get through with this guy, we're going to die anyway. We need to draw something here. Like a Lorien would be really good. Jace's Erasure. Well, we did get a Weather the Storm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can play everything in hand. So I think we go for an Erasure first. Desert is irrelevant now, so let's go for an AK. They have a Thraben Charm. That's honestly fine. This just gives us more life, and I'm not really close to winning with that anyway. Alright, so we're gonna Weather the Storm for 12. We just have not seen a lot of card draw. Some cantrips, but that's about it. Like one Lorien, I think, kind of wins us the game, or pretty close here. We're taking 4. Another Weather. Okay, well, now we're on to scrying with the Campus. I could have done that in my upkeep, but with only 3 mana, or 3 mana after, it didn't seem like it would make much difference. Just attack with this guy for 12. Let's scry, see what we're getting here. Perfect. Accumulated knowledge is good. Should I fog for 12? I think no, because if I fog here and then next turn they like make it actually lethal and I miss on a fog, then I lose. So I think we're at the point of the game where we only really fog lethal attacks. There's an Ethereal Armor, and I could Weather for 6 life. That's not really good enough. But we get the Accumulated Knowledge, and another, okay, and a Fog. Okay, I think we're doing good. So I could do this now. Yeah, I might as well, because I could set up a big Weather here if I get like another 2-drop, and then or like a 1-drop Weather and then Fog or something. They could have a Thraben Charm, Exile, or Graveyard. That'd be pretty annoying, honestly. Yeah, looks like that's what's going to happen. We don't have the counter spell for it. Yeah, that could be unfortunate. Only draw 1 card. We do get to Weather here for another 12. Growth Chamber back, the Thornwood Falls. But now we are at the mercy of our top decks for... I mean, we have 2 turns, but still. We'll see if they might not attack with both just because they don't want to get tangled. But if they do, obviously, we have to fog. Just attack with 1. I'm going to take it. We're going to scry in the upkeep. Try to hit something other than lands. That's not it. Now, obviously, we have to fog. Cast a Moment's Peace. Aerialist. Lorien Revealed. Nice. That's a good draw. Into our last Accumulated Knowledge, which still draws 2. It's not bad. Let's Growth Spiral, put in the Growth Chamber. Oh, actually I should have put in the Fountain because I could have picked it up for more life gain. Bit of a mistake, actually, but that's okay. I'm gonna flash this back. This does tap us out of the Arcane Denial, but I'd rather use up the 3 mana spell than the 1 mana spell. Upkeep, we're gonna scry. Preordain's good enough, I think, to keep, because it can just look for something else. No to the island, no to the Growth Spiral. Let's Accumulated Knowledge, draw 2, Thornwood Falls, and Foretell a Behold. We're holding on. Moment's Peace drawn. Hope for no Mana Tithe. Scry in our upkeep, sure. Get rid of the Thornwood. Weather. Play Radiant Fountain. I think we'll just pass here. We can flashback Moment's Peace and then cast the Behold the Multiverse and potentially set up like a big Weather if I get like 1 more spell. Moment's Peace. Behold the Multiverse. We don't need lands. Brainstorm, sure. There's the Stream of Thought. Lorien could shuffle, but I'm actually fine with all of these, I believe. We'll go for a Weather the Storm to gain 12. Not gonna scry. Go for the Lorien Revealed. Jace's Erasure. Okay, play that. And I think next turn we go for a big Stream of Thought, too, to start speeding things up. They play a Plains. They only swing for 14. I understand they're worried about the tangle, but they should really swing for lethal here because I'm just going to take it again. I don't have to do anything because they're allowing me to. We'll scry. We're just looking for a card draw now and our other Stream of Thought, I suppose. Arcane Denial. Okay, save targets. There's no always yes, though. All right. I forgot they took that away because we squandered it or something. How much mana do we have? 5, 11, 13, 14? I need 1 for this, so this could be 13. I'm going to hope there's no reason we need anything else. Oh, I don't actually have enough blue? Or no, I just need to... I need to tap this and not hold up, and just hold up a fog. Yeah, I mean, if we get Mana Tithe, I would be impressed, so we're going to not hold up for that. Replicate 3 times. Perfect. Same targets, same targets, same targets. I've not played this card before, so bear with me. I think we put back all of our card draw. Maybe not all of our Accumulated Knowledges, just one of them. But because of the Jace's Erasure, I guess we probably put back Fogs, too. We've used Fogs, though. I guess pretty much everything is fine. Like Weather the Storm, sure. But we'll leave the 1 AK because I think that makes sense to me. All right, there are 22 cards in deck. I probably should have just shuffled in the life or the card draw. Cast a Fog, and we'll scry in the upkeep. Now we're just looking for another Stream of Thought or card draw. Yes. Found a Growth Spiral. No to that. Yes to mill. We found a Lorien Revealed. Yes. 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 Thornwood Falls. We have a Moment's Peace up. Cast that. I maybe should have just fogged because if they have a Thraben Charm, they can exile the Moment's Peace now. And I'm not holding up a counterspell for that. but they don't, so we are totally fine. We have another Lorien, so we don't need to scry. There's another Lorien. Draw 3. The Stream of Thought also makes it so we don't mill out to our own card draw, which is good, obviously. Foretell this Behold, and we'll just pass there. I guess, actually, I've been flashing back the Moment's Peace right away, which I think is generally decent against a deck that has Graveyard Hate. Like that, for example. I guess we actually want them to draw cards, so we'll Arcane Denial, and if they can choose not to, but then we still get to draw our card. But it's also possible we should be leaving the Moment's Peace in the graveyard, because then we can shuffle it back in. I know I've seen people do that before. They choose not to draw. I will draw, however. There's the Stream of Thought, so that should be lethal this turn. Let's just flash back the Moment's Peace, Growth Spiral, mill them for 1. Beholden Multiverse, doesn't really matter at this point. Scry 2 to the top, mill them for 2. I've been paying no attention to anything we've milled, so I assume they don't have an Eldrazi or anything. But we will cast Stream of Thought, replicated twice, I suppose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then these. Same targets. And we win our first Turbo Fog match. You can now pick up my comprehensive guide to Esper Cryo Affinity, including 38 sideboard matchups, and I just put out a big update for my Black Sack guide, including a slightly different deck list. I began offering coaching sessions if you're interested in taking your Pauper game to the next level, and I'm accepting deck donations, so if you desperately want me to play a deck that I usually wouldn't play, something like Elves, then you can make me do that for a small fee. I've started posting a League video every single day, not to mention streaming at least a couple times a week on Twitch, but I'm not going to be able to keep that up forever unless I can get a little bit more help from the community. Any of the ways I've just mentioned are great ways to help me out, or you can even subscribe and support me on a monthly basis. Well, we are playing against Walls. Last time I checked, Walls doesn't usually attack. They just deal direct damage with their infinite combos. I guess they're only going to have a couple copies of those cards, like Freed from the Real and Galvanic Alchemist. If I can counter both of those, I guess Reaping as well can get back the Alchemist, so that would be a third card to counter. Or if I could just counter Valakut Invoker or Scholar of Athreos or Secret Passage, then we can probably just win if we can do those, but that means we really need to have counter spells, because the fogs are like mostly irrelevant in this deck. Like if we do counter those things, they're going to try to attack with Generous Sense and whatnot. Then the fogs become relevant. All right, we have 1 lander, and it's a Growth Chamber, so that's not keepable. Here we have 3 lands with this. Yeah, we kind of have the card draw we want. I think we put back the fog, because it's just not going to be relevant for super long. Then again, the Stream of Thought, same thing. In fact, with Reaping the Grave, milling them is actually just beneficial. Well, we're keeping... I guess the Stream of Thought's probably less good than the fog, actually. Kind of tough. They mulligan to 4, so that's something. Aquarian Ranger. Start things off. Oh, see, I can fog to gain 1 life against Aquarian Ranger. We'll just play our tap land and pass. They're gonna float a green, untap, and play the Battlement. Another accumulated knowledge. Okay, I probably just play one of those then. They're gonna have a lot of mana, but I certainly don't have anything to say about that. And even if I go for a Preordain, I'm not gonna find a counterspell for 1 mana. Lead the Stampede, can't stop that. They hit 5 spells, and just like that, their mulligan is gone. I think they accidentally untapped the Quarian Ranger, bouncing the Forest instead of the Battlement, because they would have wanted to play the Caretaker, I assume, or maybe not. I don't know. All right, we'll go for an AK, draw a card, take a damage. So now I think I go for a Preordain. If we can find a counter spell, I mean, I don't even know what we counter out of this. Like I said, I think I need to counter... We have plenty of lands. I think I need to counter just the combo pieces. We'll play an island and hold up as if we're going to counter, plus we have the AK to draw 2 more. They said they were lagging. I assume that's why they misclicked before. They get down the Caretaker and the Battlement. Untap the Battlement this time. There's the Guardian. Swing for 1. Draw 2 here. Drawing a lot of lands. We're going to Preordain. Those are not bad cards, actually. Are we dead here, though, is the question, without a counterspell? They have Drift of Phantasms. They have, what is this, 12 mana. Play the Battlement, it's 15. So they can drift for a Reaping. I feel like we're probably dead if we don't have a counterspell. So these cards are really good, but they don't really do it. Yeah, I'm going to follow my gut and get rid of these. Obviously, we didn't hit it there. I have to play a Forest. This lets us draw 3 with the Brainstorm and maybe hit a counterspell. This feels like a tough matchup for sure, I assume. We get some stuff from the sideboard. They cycle a Generosent for a Forest, play that. Battlement, another Axebane Guardian, yeah. So these each tap for 6, and there's a Beast Rider Vanguard, so even if I counter the Drift, or whatever the Drift gets, Beast Rider just finds whatever. Beast Strider for Freed from the Real. That was easy. Well, I have to counter the Freed, so we don't find a counterspell. They get infinite mana. Drift of Phantasms goes and finds their win con, and I will lose. All right, well, we don't need Fog at all. We'll see if we can bring all of these out, but we get counterspells. I think Mystics is actually a good way to, like, actually win the game. Relics and Bojuka Bog do have some relevance. Not a ton, but, like, Library's not going to do much. Yeah, I mean, I'd have both Mystics and Mill as win cons, but I kind of think the Mystic is maybe a better way to win. Oh, we don't really need the Weather the Storms either, because if they're going to kill us, it's going to be infinite usually. So I think I just bring in more lands, because, like, at least we won't miss land drops. Bring in the Library, and I guess the Weather. Like, one Weather is probably better than a Fog. Like, on the off chance they have, like, a Valakut Invoker, but it's not infinite. All right, we have a counterspell. We have some card draw. This one looks fine. Go for the Thornwood Falls. They get a Quirion Ranger. I'm just gonna foretell this Behold. Battlement. Swing for 1. Quandrix and pass. They have a Shield Wall Sentinel, so that can find something scary. I don't think it's something we counter, though. But, like, it can find the Drift of Phantasms if they want, if assuming they have a way to make the blue mana, in which case Drift cycling isn't something I can counter. So, like, there's some thought to be put into it, but I assume at this point, yeah, they were just getting a Guardian since they don't have blue mana anyway. Let's go for the Behold and Multiverse. Stream we don't need right now. Counterspell's good, though. Mystic's good. I think I just put down the Mystic, and now we just play... Oh, another Mystic? Now we just play the control game. There's no way they can win this turn, I don't think. And, yeah, I think Mystic definitely can be a good way to victory here. There's the Axebane and another. Untap, but nothing else to play. We do want a land drop here. We have an Arcane Denial, so I'm going to go for a Preordain. We also start making birds this way, but perfect. Counterspell and Island. We'll keep the Island. I guess I might Arcane Denial and Accumulated Knowledge, so probably no reason to play this Library. I can't tap out now. I would love to get another Mystic down, but we could definitely die from this position, so let's try not to. Secret Door, that's an infinite outlet. They just have a ton of mana, honestly, so, like, it's going to take too long for it to kill us, though. I think we let it resolve. I mean, I only have one counterspell this turn, so if I counter that and then they have infinite mana and, like, a Drift, we just die. But even without infinite, each of these taps for 5 mana. With the Quirion, that's 20 mana, so they can Secret Door 4 times a turn. I don't think that's the end of the world, but it is decent. There's the Freed from the Real. I think we go for the Arcane Denial. Not that I love giving them more cards when it's this kind of a deck, but the mana cost is just easier. And if they also have a Drift of Phantasms, then we lose. But can't do much about that. They have the Valakut Invoker, so that's another outlet, but it's not a win con yet, except they can probably make enough mana to just kill this Mystic, can't they? The Invoker. Oh, they have the Drift. For another Drift. Then they find Reaping, they get back both Drifts, and they can find Galvanic Alchemist. If I counter that, they find another Drift here, then they'd be dead. But I can't counter anything, so I'm just going to see how they kill us here, but we are super dead. There's the Reaping. Get back all 3 of these. What does this Yield to All button do if it doesn't yield to all? What? I thought this button was already pretty stupid, but it literally doesn't do what it says to do. Okay, that's crazy. Oh, they're not going to win this turn? I mean, they have triple Drift in hand, so I don't imagine we can win this. But if they only have one Galvanic Alchemist, I don't know. We know there's not a land on top, so let's just Accumulated Knowledge here. Right, plus we're drawing them more cards. Relic, 1 turn too late? Come on, dude. And Bojuka Bog. What the hell is this? Yeah, here's the thing. They just have 4... No, this is a defender. So 20 mana, as we talked about. 23, 24. So this can just deal 9 damage. So we're just going to die to that no matter what. I mean, I guess I'll keep playing, but I feel very dead here. We'll Growth Spiral. Hit a Bojuka Bog. Look at that. We even have Growth Spiral Bojuka Bog for the instant speed against the Reaping, but we didn't get there. I guess Relic. I could have brainstormed to try to find another land, but I'd have to hit an untapped blue to have a counterspell up. I will say there is a cost to colorless lands here. And that is that with 6 lands on the battlefield, I can only cast 1 counterspell. Now, I think based on their hand, it probably doesn't matter. We're probably going to die either way, but definitely worth noting. There's the Invoker, killing the Mystic, finishing it off. Yeah, and these 4 birds aren't going to go the distance. I guess technically I could get another Mystic down and make a bunch of birds, but seems unlikely. Untap. Priest of Titania, sure. Quirion Rangers are elves. Beast Rider, Vanguard. Here's the thing, if I ever counterspell anything that's not this Drift for a Galvanic Alchemist, then we're just going to die to the infinite mana. gonna go for a Brainstorm on the end step here. Library and Desert, I guess it doesn't really matter. I can't actually crack this Relic to draw a card because then we lose our AK value. Okay, I think we're just gonna concede here. I can't do anything about the creatures on board. In addition to the fact we could just die to the Invoker in a couple turns, the Beast Rider Vanguard's gonna keep drawing them cards, so I think we're gonna not waste any more time on this one, unfortunately. Definitely, we went from probably our best matchup in the entire format to, I would guess, one of our worst. All right, we got some Growth Spirals. Seems decent. Play an island. I mean, we don't have green mana. Like, if we draw a forest, that'd kind of be our best draw so that I can, like, Growth Spiral the Growth Chamber into the field. Don't really want to cycle this Lorien at the moment. Although I guess I could have cycled it. Well, I still can for green mana. Because otherwise I have to play the Growth Chamber to get the Growth Spirals online. In which case, I'm going to have to discard this turn, which I don't love. And with the Growth Spirals, more lands is probably fine. Alright, we'll cycle it. The draw 3 is super relevant in this deck, like a lot of the time, I feel like. Alright, they're just over there playing Dimir lands. Ice Tunnel often means Terror, interestingly. There's a Tangle. So let's see, we have 8. I could Growth Spiral, put in the Growth Chamber, so it's untapped next turn, and then we play a land as well. If they counter this, that's fine. It's not the end of the world. We still get to just do this without discarding. Fogs are definitely pretty good against Terror, if they can resolve. There's a Brainstorm and Snow-Covered Island. Play an island, another Lorien. So now I can hold up Knowledge and Spiral. They Thought Scour, Lorien, and Abandon Attachments. Cycle a Lorien here, so that's 6 spells. There's a Terror, followed by a Gurmag. Let's go for a Growth Spiral and Accumulated Knowledge. Alright, so I do have enough lands to play a Lorien, but I do want to keep hitting my land drops, so I'm going to be responsible and cycle this. Not that I really want to. We do have an Accumulated Knowledge. Maybe I could have gotten greedy and not done that, but yeah, I don't know. Here, I think we do play our Tangle earlier than like otherwise, because we might have to fight over counterspells, in which case it might not actually resolve. So if I do the old, just take 10 because it's not lethal, and then try to fight over it next turn, I have less mana to fight over it than if I try to fight over it 2 turns in a row. So we're just going to Tangle here. I think this makes sense anyway. And they just let it go. We get to draw 2, hopefully. Nice. And even a Growth Spiral. Drop that island. All right, so the Lorien was worth it. Well, we have to hit a land drop this turn for it to will be worth it. Perfect. Let's go for a Preordain. We're also totally fine this turn. We do want to hit land drops, but I think we're just looking for more card draw as our way to hit land drops. Quandrix Campus is pretty nice. I kind of wish I had it this turn so that I could surveil, or scry rather, right here. So we have just a free turn there. I could have done it in the upkeep, which probably would have been better. Let's try to be on top of that a little more. Play an island. They're going to swing. We're going to go for the Moment's Peace. Take 0. Scry here. And I don't really feel like I need another Arcane Denial. Not even using the ones we have at the moment, which I'm sure I will at some point, but Thornwood Falls. All right. I'm going to take the approach I was mentioning before and fog from hand rather than using the Moment's Peace, because if we find a way to recur it, we might want to do that. Obviously not if it's our only fog, though. We have a Sneaky Snacker. I don't think we care about more creatures, just because we're trying to fog them all away anyway. Also, Arcane Denialing a Snacker seems hilariously bad, although I guess even worse if it was somehow on our turn. There's a Stream of Thought. We're pretty far away from using that effectively. We don't really need to shuffle stuff in for us. I don't think that's what we need. We just need, like, Loriens and AKs. Growth Chamber. Bounce the Falls. I could be using the Quandrix Campus in my upkeep every turn. It doesn't feel that much different than using it on the end step. I guess I'm like slightly behind, so maybe I should just be doing that, but I don't know. Here, I have to Moment's Peace or do nothing. I think we go for the Moment's Peace and scry. I think here if I hit nothing, I'm going to scry in my upkeep because I really need to find something. Okay, Tangle is something. That buys us 2 turns, so we keep that. And we have the counter spells to make sure it goes off, or to hopefully make sure it goes off. They could have 4 counter spells in hand. But if they do, I guess we get a really big Weather the Storm off, and that's not bad either. Play an Aquifer, swing for 12. Let's try to Tangle that. They don't fight over that. Okay. They either don't have counterspells or they're wanting to fight over something else instead. We're going to scry 1. Here, we're definitely scrying in the upkeep because we're taking this turn off. Well, they're taking this turn off. I would love to actually play like a Lorien or something this turn. Weather the Storm. Okay, not quite what we were looking for. There's a Brainstorm. Mental Note for a couple removal spells. Imagine playing removal. Another Snacker. Brainstorm. This feels like the Weather the Storm turn, so do I just fight over a Brainstorm for no good reason? Probably not. I probably should fight over a Mental Note, though, just to gain extra life from the Weather the Storms. If they go for another one, I will. I feel like they probably would save it, though. If they go for a creature, should I, like a Terror, should I actually try to Weather the Storm? Or counter it, rather? Should I try to counter it? Just because Currently, we don't have fogs. I mean, I think this is our best time to weather the storm, regardless. Oh, and we can do the old Arcane Denial trick on the Weather the Storms to just draw us more cards. That seems good, right? This would draw us 3. Should I do it twice? We really don't need these. I guess this is our card draw. I kind of forgot about this as a trick. I could have... This is wasting like one of the Weather the Storms, to be honest. Oh, they Spell Pierce, sure. I guess that's a little annoying. We still gain a bunch of life, though. Now, we get to both be the one to draw 2 and 1 here is the trick. So we turn this into a draw 3 and lose 3 life, essentially. That was fine. That's just all these. Okay, there we go. I mean, now they could just counter this maybe, but we'll do that at their turn. We did find some more turns at the very least. They're swinging for 14. I don't need to counter that, but I think we will. Same reason as before. Just if they want to fight over counter spells and stuff on this, I'd like to kind of know about it earlier. They have Valorian. I'm going to try to draw 3 in response. Sure. Okay, we find our Jace's Erasure. That's decent. Assuming that'll actually resolve. There's a Gurmag. Yeah, I maybe should not have played into the Spell Pierce there for the Arcane Denial, because I could have just done it this turn and like been able to draw the 3, but it's probably fine. I think this is just a turn where we send off both Weathers, which can gain us a bunch of turns even if we end up like tapping out of a fog or one gets countered. Although then I can't scry one. Is that super relevant? No, I think the 18 life is probably better. All right, there's a Jace's Erasure. We'll see if it gets countered. I can always recur it with the Stream of Thought if it does, and it does. Now hopefully I can resolve Lorien. Muddle the Mixture. I could just go for another Jace's Erasure. Probably don't need to do that right now, because then I'm tapping out. I guess they could Spell Pierce it is the problem, because getting it down now is not a bad idea, because what, we're going to take 19, that's not that big of a deal, but they could Spell Pierce. I think it's probably worth trying, actually. Oh, or I just go for Accumulated Knowledge and draw 4. That's got to be better, right? Draw 4 seems pretty good. I guess this could still get Spell Pierced, but alright, it worked. And I did it like that so that I could go Forest and play Library, so I don't have to discard. Although, playing the Library actually makes it so we're at 7 cards anyway. Alright, we got the Stream of Thought, we got the Jace's Erasure, so that was better to go for the AK, I think, than the Erasure. What's going on? They could have like a Bachuga Bog, obviously get rid of the Moment's Peace. That'd be a little annoying, but we still have a Fog and some other stuff in hand. Unexpected Fangs. I'm not planning to do damage to them, so that's fine. Obviously, it just deals 1 more and they might as well cast it, but not a big deal to me. They do have 2. We do have an Arcane Denial, so I can probably, if they counter this, then I can get a Stream of Thought off at least. If they don't, Brainstorm, we get to start milling them. They've also done the nice job of milling themselves for a bunch. Okay, and they concede there. We even drew the last Arcane Denial, so I could have double backup, Stream of Thought, and we're going to win that one. All right, well, Relics and Bajuka Bogs, I don't even know if we need these, because they're really only using their graveyard to power out creatures, which we don't care too much about. These feel more like graveyard combo deck cards. I was told counter spells and mystics are decent against blue control decks, especially because they're going to take all of their removal out for the mystics probably. So I could just pivot and take the Erasures and Stream of Thoughts out. I think that's kind of what they mentioned. I mean, Bajuka Bog holding off creatures can still be decent, so I think maybe that for the Radiant Fountain is fine. Desert can be useful because it can ping off Snackers. The Relics I'm kind of not keen on, I don't think. And they mentioned swapping the Arcane Denials for the counterspells. I'm not 100% sure if this is the match for that, but it seems fine enough. Like, just slightly better counterspells when we don't want to give them 2 more counterspells and, like, make it so it's easier for them to win the war. Library doesn't seem super important, but they might have a Duress package in their sideboard, so I assume it's fine. Let's try this. Yeah, this hand's a little slow, but seems alright. I guess doesn't have a lot of card draw either, but we have our first 3 land drops. If we get another land, then the Growth Spiral can ramp us a little bit. Alright, there's some card draw. Another Lorien, so let's just cycle this for an island, play that, and then I can cycle this for another island. Yeah, probably another island, because then I can Growth Spiral and hold up Accumulated Knowledge too. They Thought Scour, hit a Metal Note, cycle Lorien, Jace's Erasure. I don't think we need that down this early, and would rather have at least a counterspell up to protect it, or have them be tapped out. If they tap out at some point, I can get an Erasure down, that could be good. Spell Bomb is going to be annoying against like Accumulated Knowledge and Moment's Peace. Probably the type of thing we want to counterspell, right? Yeah, I guess I'll try for it. I mean, they could Spell Pierce here. It just seems tough. Like, they get to hold it for forever. It cuts off 1 Moment's Peace and at least 1 Accumulated Knowledge. Oh, they're missing land drops real bad, though. So that's nice. And they didn't have a Spell Pierce. Another Accumulated Knowledge, that's why. Honestly, now I think I just play the Erasure. Actually, Erasure mills them and actually can fuel their terrors while they are currently basically not able to cast anything. So actually I just play Mystic. And unless they kept some snuff outs in, anticipating this, Mystic will just win the game. There's a snacker. Now we get to draw 3 with our knowledges. Yeah, Erasure, would definitely have been a mistake. All right, let's draw 1 card. We're hoping to hit a land here, obviously. And they just concede. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they took out the removal, so the Mystic's going to go the distance. They were also missing land drops, obviously, which is tough. And we were able to get a relatively quick match for Turbo Fog there. All right, round 4 here, and Growth Spiral with the Chambers is pretty nice. Just a good amount of card draw, too. We do need to find fogs, obviously, but that's what the card draw is for. Island and pass from the opponent. Play a Thornwood Falls and pass it right back. They cycle a Lorien. Moment's Peace, that's decent. I could Behold the Multiverse Foretell here. I'd really like this Growth Spiral to be cast and ideally resolve, but we'll see how that goes. They got the Spell Pierce for it. Another one. I think for this, I'm just going to Foretell. I need to do this in my main phase, or I could cycle the Lorien. But yeah, since we're not holding up the 2 mana, I think I'd rather hold the Growth Spiral for later. I assume we're against Mono Blue Terror. Bojuka Bog, and instant speed too. I really have been wanting to do this. I think it'd be really sweet. We're going to play the island. This lets us play like Behold and Growth Spiral. Going to go for the Behold first, see if they want to counter that. They do. Then I'll go for the Growth Spiral. If they counter this too, I can just play the Bojuka Bog regularly. I think I am still just going to put the Bojuka Bog in, and then we can Growth Spiral it back, and so we can have 2 triggers of the Bog. We don't even need to fog them if we're just bogging them. I could have cast the Lorien there for 5, and if they have a counter spell, it's probably fine. I don't know. I think I'd rather just save it for now. We can get counter spells and things like that to back it up, or just at least play it when we don't have, when we're not susceptible to Spell Pierce. They go for a Ponder, and pass to us. Forest. Yeah, I don't think we're in a rush. We have land drops for days, so let's just keep passing. The longer this goes, the better it is for us. If they tap out for a Lorien, that's a great time for us to Lorien. They missed their land drop too. Let's cast that. We got 9 cards in here. Let's go for a Preordain. Growth Spiral. That's pretty nice, actually. I'm going to get rid of the fog. We already have a bunch of fogs. I'm just going to Growth Spiral here so that we don't have to discard. And they only have 2 spells in their grave. If they want to spend like 5 mana casting a Terror, I'm totally fine with that. We'll save that for next turn. Until Note. Okay, obviously they hit pretty well. They could play 2 Terrors here, but we can still just Bojuka Bog and we have fogs for days. So that's also not a big deal. Another Mental Note, Sleep of the Dead. There's a Terror and another. Let's go for Accumulated Knowledge. There's Library. We'll Brainstorm, put back a couple of these, Accumulated Knowledge. So we're going to Library, not expecting a counterspell for that. Accumulated Knowledge to draw 2. Then I can just Weather the Storm here, and then Bojuka Bog. All right, and we're still holding up Fog. I don't even know if I care to cast it for just 10 damage at this point. Thought Scour for 2 islands. It's possible I should have played 1 fewer spell, and I could have Arcane Denial'd our own Weather, because we are a little low on card draw now. I could always Arcane Denial a Fog of my own, but yeah, that could have been better for sure. I think I'm still not thinking of Arcane Denial as a card draw spell, when I probably should be thinking of it that way. Especially against these decks where it's like, there's not really much I care to counter. Demon Inferior on the Library. I guess it's just about our only target. I don't care to redraw that, though. Oh, I should have gone for the Scry 1. That was a mistake. I can counterspell, or rather, I can fog them. If they try to counter it, which they probably won't at 28 life, but if they do, then I can Arcane Denial our own fog to get the draw 3, plus I get to eat a counterspell. There's a Terror. So we'll go for a Moment's Peace. And let's Scry 1. Jace's Erasure. Not what we need at the moment. Just more card draw. Radiant Fountain. Flashback. The Moment's Peace. I feel like the chances are they might have another creature here, so I kind of want to save the Tangle. They do go for Dispel, so I'm going to go for an Arcane Denial on our Moment's Peace to try to draw 3, and they have another Dispel, so I can't do much about that. I think getting 3 of these Terrors, maybe I do just go for the Tangle, though, here. It buys us a lot of time. If they have another Counterspell, then it's rough, so maybe I should have gone for the Fog first. All right, and I'm going to let this one go through, because I'd really like to get this Scry off on the campus. We will Scry in the upkeep. This time it's a little more important. See, there's the Terror, the 4th actual Terror that I was thinking about for that Tangle. Scry 1. Lorien's what we need. So obviously now we don't need to Scry. Cast the Lorien. Another Lorien plus an Accumulated Knowledge. 5. Let's play the AK so that we can have as much mana as possible. Arcane Denial. All right. Well, we have a Fog plus a Counterspell. Maybe I should have done this in the upkeep, just because we actually die if this doesn't resolve. It does, though, so that's nice. Another Serpent. And another. Well, we're looking for more Fogs, but I think we just Preordain's nice, actually. That lets us see 3 cards for just 1 mana instead of for 5. Island can go away. Moment's Peace, definitely keep. Now we play a Lorien. Okay. Where's that library when you need it? Play an island. Let's see. We need to keep up at 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to make sure this resolves, so I could brainstorm here. That's it. I think we'll just pass on this. They swing with just enough so that if we tangle, they can have enough. But they also realize if I have just like 1 counter or bounce spell, if I have 1 removal or bounce spell, then it could be rough, so they actually attack with a little bit over, but we'll go for the piece here. And let's brainstorm. All right, hitting some good cards. Put back this Forest in the Growth Chamber I don't think I need, so we're going to scry that to the bottom. And then I don't mind getting the Forest because I would like to hit a land drop. There are 27 cards, so I can muddle for my Jace's Erasure. That's probably the play. Transmute. Or I could go for, again, we're in the spot of, I could just go for an Accumulated Knowledge and draw 4. 2 Stream of Thoughts, so I probably won't mill out. Yeah, I think we do that. Let's do that every time. 4 is a lot of cards, I've heard. There's Library. Stream of Thought. 1, 2. I could cast 1 stream and then cast the other stream to shuffle them back in. I do think we just cast a Stream of Thought for just a little bit here. Put back our Fogs at this point, I guess. But not the Moment's Peace, because I might need that one. Preordain. Sure. And then cast this again. They're going to brainstorm here. Sure, so they'll get to, I'll mill whatever they put back. That's kind of cool. Slash, maybe they're looking for a counter spell, because if they can stop the second Stream of Thought, they might be good, but we have the Jace's Erasure. We just need to not mill out. Brainstorm, Preordain. Brainstorm's hitting the Jace's Erasure better, and now we can go for a Weather the Storm to gain 18, which should keep us alive even through, like, even if they just counter it, because they can only deal 32 here. So we'll pass. We're still going to go for the Moment's Peace, obviously, and that works. So we take nothing. They have a Serpent. Don't care about that. Although I guess I should probably just counter kind of whatever, because I'd like to. Yeah, I mean, I'll counter this, because I draw a card, and if they draw, it mills them, right? I don't really care about the library at all, but I have nothing else to use these counter spells on, so I think this is right. They're low ish on cards, but they probably want to just say yes to draw because they want to have counterspells if they can find them. All right, we're looking for Stream of Thought or Jace's Erasure. Preordain into, get rid of the Growth Spiral, keep the Preordain because we're also building up Storm Count here. Plus it's just another Scry 2. Fog, we currently don't have any Fogs. I kind of think we keep both of these. And then I go for a Lorien. They have a Spell Pierce or something, just make it more expensive. Looks like it. Tangle, and there's the Jace's Erasure. So now we get to cast that. Simic Growth Chamber back the Bog, and I think we'll just win now. They swing with everybody. Now we get to tangle them. They might have the counterspell. Thought Scour us. Sure. Counterspell. Gonna go for an Arcane Denial. If they have a counterspell for that, I have a Fog. All right, they concede. Able to get there. Here, not quite the same as Dimir Terror, because it's not a control deck. Still, Mystics seem good, because it's going to be hard for them to stop it from happening. Do we want Counterspell over Arcane Denial? It kind of felt like it was fine to let them draw cards, because, like, what do they have to get? Obviously, if they get counterspells, it can be tough. I kind of like, I don't know if I need to replace the mill with the Mystics, though, because I like that they have to mill themselves. And the Bog actually makes them remill themselves. Library doesn't seem necessary. They did say they wanted to keep the Library in the deck, and I keep saying it looks unnecessary. I don't know if it's super important to have. Obviously, it's cool if your opponent makes you discard, and the no maximum has come up. I generally think if you have 7 cards in hand and are discarding, you're in a pretty good spot anyway. So that's just my play style, but obviously, if they like it, there's nothing wrong with that. I also kind of like the Arcane Denials on the Weather the Storm trick. What are we cutting here then? Counterspells are all good. I guess Jace's Erasure is decent, but it's one of our only... They'll probably take out Demon Inferior though, right? I guess we had a Jace's Erasure right at the end, so maybe they'll keep it in for that reason. That would actually make Mystic bad. So like maybe just Stream of Thought, not Jace's Erasure. Not sure about the Mystic then. If we're pulling out the Jace's Erasure, I think the Muddle can come out too. It is nice to find an Accumulated Knowledge, but... And then I guess the Brainstorm is also mostly there for the Jace's Erasure as a draw 3. I think we'll try this. I don't really know the best plan here. This is no card draw, just a Mystic. I don't think this is very good. We need ways to set up better. This isn't much better, but we do have 1 Accumulated Knowledge. I guess we'll keep that and get rid of one of these Weather the Storms. Oh, this Desert's probably not super relevant. Maybe they're playing Delvers or Snackers. Most decks play one or the other, but they'd have to not flip a Delver for the Desert to matter. I will say I've seen some, I'm not saying it's best because what do I know about Turbo Fog? But I've seen some deck lists that run like 3 or 4 deserts. It's a lot of colorless lands, and I was already noting how the lands that are not blue makes the counterspells tough. But I will say if you have 2 or 3 deserts on the field, they can make it really tough for your opponent to attack with anything profitably. So I do think that's kind of an interesting take on the deck. They go for a Brainstorm here. Pass. We get an island. I'll just play that so I can play Accumulated Knowledge. Get that down early. A Mental Note. Ponder and a Gut Shot. Gut Shot, they know there's probably nothing to target. I assume that means they had cards they wanted to take out, like Demon Inferior, and they just thought it was better to have a free spell, so good to watch out for. Here's a Knowledge. Lorien. Another Lorien. Okay, we're getting a little Lorien flooded. Also, would have loved a Bojuka Bog. There's a Ponder and a Terror. And another Terror. Well, I think I'm going to take the early Weather here. We're kind of shutting off the Arcane Denial draw plan, but it gives us a little more leeway. I guess we have Moment's Peace. We'll just keep it for now. I'm going to cycle one of these. We are in kind of a tough spot because we have to start fogging immediately. And if they counter Moment's Peace, I can't do anything about it. I can Weather, so I'll survive, but we're going to be really low. Now, if they only have one counter spell, they got to wonder if I have like a Tangle if they counter this. Okay, they Spell Pierce. So if I pay for the Pierce, then they just counter it and I lose the game. Although if they have a hard counter spell, maybe they just have 2 Spell Pierces. I don't think I can pay for it, so I think I just need to Weather the Storm here, because they can't counter all of these, I'm assuming. They could have triple Dispel or Spell Pierce, but I will not pay. Go down to 8, another Terror. Moment's Peace top deck actually is pretty clutch, because then I'm going to flash this back. They're going to try to counter it, I assume. And I can Moment's Peace from hand. If they have 2 counter spells, we are dead. Dispel, Moment's Peace. All right, they got a very fast start and then a handful of counter spells. Going to be a tough one to beat for sure. And so we won't. I guess maybe I should put in the relics because I could prevent that type of a start. And we did put in extra lands. We probably don't need these. I guess the desert actually doesn't seem very good. Radiant Fountain's probably better than that. Yeah, relic could have obviously helped there. I was seeing it as a not great because once we get to the late game, we don't need to exile their graveyard. But in the early game, if they get the busted start, we could just lose. Let's try this again. Okay. Bojuka Bog with the spiral, with the growth chamber, and then a million spirals. I guess we'll keep this one. Although no reason to start on the bog since they're not playing anything yet. Start with the Delver. Sure. We haven't seen those yet. Growth chamber. Okay. Gotta just pick this up. Would have loved a forest so I could have actually spiraled. It's better to spiral in the growth chamber, but obviously using the growth chamber to spiral something else in is also fine. Just wastes a little bit more mana. Delver does not flip, and they forget to attack, it looks like. Or maybe just since Delver didn't flip, it doesn't get to attack. Let's play an island and pass. They go for a Mental Note, Dispel and Mental Note, and another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we get to Growth Spiral in a Bojuka Bog. Look at this. We're doing it. Instant Speed Bog to prevent the terrors from coming down. That was hilarious. That's so good, dude. Delver still doesn't flip. This is why they were relying on terrors. These guys suck. 1 mana, 1/1? No thank you. If I get a forest and they try to go for it again, I could double Growth Spiral to spiral in the Growth Chamber to pick up the bog and then replay the bog. Oh my god, that'd be hilarious. I guess I don't even need to do that because I could just play it for turn here. Fair enough. I guess we'll Accumulated Knowledge, so I'm using the mana from the bog, which I'm about to pick up. Bog's also nice with this Stream of Thought because I could go for like an early mill them for a couple and then bog it away. We'll see if the Delvers flip this time though. Ooh, they do. Off a Mental Note. Alright, that's going to be some damage. We don't have any fogs yet, but luckily this is not something we have to fog for another turn or two. We'll go for the Growth Spiral. They got the Dispel. There's a Moment's Peace. So I'll just Island. If they go for a Mental Note loop at the end step, I can again go for the Bojuka Bog. There's a Mental Note. They hit 2 spells, so that's 3. If they want to play a 4-mana Terror, that's fine. I could even counter it if I want. I think we'll take the 6 here. They are going to go for the 4-mana Serpent. I'll Growth Spiral, put in a Bojuka Bog, exile their grave, and do I want to counter this? Probably not. We now have all the fogs, so I'll let that resolve, and I think we'll go for a Weather the Storm Arcane Denial. Hope for no Spell Pierce, I guess. Oh, they have a Delver, so no Spell Pierce. Perfect. That also means more life from the Weather the Storm. All right, so we gain 9, draw 3 here, and then draw for turn. Another Growth Spiral, sure. Let's go for a Brainstorm. Okay, Preordain can put 2 lands away, probably. Do I need to pick up a Bojuka Bog again? Probably don't need to, but I probably will anyway. Let's Preordain here. Put these on the bottom. Mystic. Okay, we're not playing Mystic this turn, but next turn. Just because we'd be tapping pretty low. In fact, we'd be tapping out of Fog, and this is 15 damage, which isn't quite lethal. Oh, the Delver doesn't flip, only 13 damage. Embarrassing. Ooh, they're going to hold some back because of a Tangle, so only 9. I don't have to Fog that, but I think 4... Yeah, actually, I think that's fine. They're going to pass. I'm going to Growth Spiral. The Bojuka Bog, if they only have 2 cards in hand, I'd rather just have the Bog on the field, I think. So, ooh, another Mystic. And there's just a normal Fog. Although I have to tap a Growth Chamber for a Mystic here, which is a little awkward because I can't hold up triple Fog, but that's okay. Mystic, I think, is going to be pretty good. Doesn't look like they have counter spells here so far, although they Lorien revealed. That's pretty good. Now they're not worried about Tangle, it appears. Okay, they are enough. They hold back a little bit. We're going to Moment's Peace. They're going to cast a Lorien, Ponder, and they don't shuffle. Another Delver. Okay. I could just Weather for 15 life. It's not bad, but I kind of want to have as many birds as possible. I think we're getting down another... Ooh, Tangle. There we go. I think we're getting another Mystic down, and I think I'm just going to Stream of Thought them for 1, just to trigger the Mystic and make a bunch of birds. Shuffle back in Preordain, a Brainstorm. I guess cantrips, because we have the Mystics down. Sure, we'll do Growth Spirals 2. 2 mana is kind of a lot. Maybe we'll just go for the 2 1-mana ones. Sure. And then we're going to keep fogging to build up birds, and then eventually we won't fog and we'll just block all of the aberrations to kill them all. Chump the Serpent. Once we have 9 birds is what we need. Oh, Gut Shot. So we're at 1 lower than we thought we were. Oh, God. And they attack with everything, so we're going to go for a Tangle here. Perfect. So I actually get to attack them, because nothing untaps, unless they have a Serpent. Or it's another Lorien. Okay, Lorien's fine. They give us the GGs. 2 Mystics, going to be pretty hard to deal with, especially if they got rid of their Demon Inferiors from their main deck, which I would not blame them for. That's kind of part of the deck idea, is that you do the old switcheroo once they've taken all the removal out. Mystic's really good. All right, round 5 here, and this does not really have any card draw, which is generally what I think you want for these decks. I could always Arcane Denialer on Weather the Storm or even Stream of Thought, so that's a little bit of card draw, and I have a lot of utility in our land base, so I think we'll keep this one, but definitely a little different than what I'd like to start with. And we're against Heroic again, which is not a popular deck in general, so a little surprised, but I think this will be a good matchup, just as it was the first time. Hopefully, maybe we'll just get trounced, but I guess we'll find out. Skyguard, okay, setting up for a big turn next turn. I think I probably hold up. I mean, Jace's Erasure doesn't do much now to play, but how much damage could I possibly take? I don't think they could kill me here. Like, even triple Ethereal Armor would be plus 12. Steady Footing, plus Vigilance. I don't think we can die here, so I don't think there's any reason to hold up a Moment's Peace. In which case, the only thing to really play is this Jace's Erasure, and it does give us a little bit of progress, so I'm just going to go for it. I just, based on our logic of before of trying to hold these up for lethal attacks, I just don't expect we'll probably cast one this turn. They could have Thraben Charms in the main deck, in which case they could blow up the Jace's Erasure, but that's okay. Hyena Umbra, and they do have the solid footing, so we're taking 5. Yeah, I would not be fogging that. Save targets, always yield. Lorien. Here, I probably should hold up a Moment's Peace, because they could get enough stuff. So I'm going to Bog. If they cast 2 or 3 spells, I might just Weather the Storm. If not... Oh, they're just attacking for 5? I don't think I cared a Moment's Peace, just the 5, so we'll take it. I guess they could have Instant Speed. Emerge Unscathed. Okay. 6 damage is not going to concern me either, unless they have more instant speed spells, and it looks like no. And a Wonder Weave Aerialist. 9 life for the Weather the Storm. Doesn't feel great. I think we're just going to cycle this Lorien. It's going to be hard to cast at this time, and having the untapped land could be relevant. Tangle. There's a card we might cast this turn. So let's just... Oh, we actually milled them a Homestead Courage. That's actually annoying, because that gives Vigilance. So Tangle is going to be worse. It only gives Vigilance for a turn, though, so I might actually just Moment's Peace this turn. I did know that they had some graveyard-relevant things, but just milling 1 on our, second mill is definitely interesting. Emerge Unscathed here. Homestead Courage. So that's 9, 13, 15 damage being dealt. Yeah, we're going to go for the Moment's Peace. Another Aerialist. Draw a card, mill them for 1. Let's play an island and pass. If they attack with everything and nothing has Vigilance, we will definitely be tangling. And that's exactly what happened. Another creature. This one with 0 power. Growth Spiral. Alright, we're just going to pass. I assume they'll probably do nothing, but they might cast a spell, and then I'm probably going to Growth Spiral, Weather the Storm just to Arcane Denial and draw some more cards. They'll swing. They can make it 4 damage. Not really concerned with that, but we'll go for a Growth Spiral in response. Put in a Radiant Fountain. Mill them for 1. And yeah, we do need to get some card draw, so let's go for the... It's kind of a waste of the Weather, because we're only actually gaining 3, but I do like drawing a bunch here. Take 4, draw 1, mill them for 1. Draw 2, mill them for 2. We also just got 2 Stream of Thoughts in hand and an Arcane Denial. So I think we'll wait a little bit longer on that. Growth Spiral, put in the Growth Chamber Guardian and mill them for 1, but respond to this. They have 2 Homestead Courages in the grave. Do I actually care about these? We have a Moment's Peace in the grave. We only have 1 more Fog. We could die here. So next turn I probably need to... Oh, maybe this turn I should have... Oh no, I have the mana. I can Stream of Thought for just 1 and Arcane Denial it. I think I need to do that to draw, which means I need to float some mana. Yeah, I guess we do Bog just in case for a Tangle later. The life gain's pretty irrelevant, I think. All right, so let's stream Arcane Denial it, and then we have Moment's Peace up. Because if we don't hit another Fog in the next like 4 draws, we're gonna lose. So let's hope we do. Accumulated Knowledge helps. Mill them for 1. Mill them for 2. There's a Moment's Peace. All right, that gives us a little more help. Sentinel's Eyes in the grave is a little annoying for sure, because that one stays, so Tangle is going to get worse. But we have the Moment's Pieces. I think we're going to be just fine here. Homestead Courage. They should probably not use a bunch of these in the same turn. I guess this one stays, so maybe using the other one's just fine. But anyway, here's a Moment's Peace. Mill them for 1. Let's see. Let's go for a Brainstorm. I'm going to put back Thornwood Knowledge. And I'm going to mill myself here because I don't want to draw those cards. The first Accumulated Knowledge is just kind of a waste of 2 mana, and we don't need any more lands. Let's go for a Brainstorm again. This is actually kind of a sick combo, I will admit. Get rid of Forest, Growth Chamber Guardian, not Guardian, Chamber. We're still really far from milling them away, milling them out, so I think it makes sense to mill us a little bit here. And I think we just Lorien revealed. We're going to go back to save targets. Another Sentinel's Eyes, but we're going to Bojuka Bog them this time. And just get rid of a Weather the Storm, I guess. They swing. Here's a Moment's Peace. Another Skyguard. Mill them for 1. We got the Tangle, which is decent, although it doesn't tap this. Let's see, 5. We're going to Growth Spiral. Put in this Growth Chamber. Mill them for 1. Bounce the Bog. Growth Spiral again. Put in the Campus. Mill. Bojuka Bog. We'll pass with some Fogs. Next turn I can Stream of Thought for 12. Sentinel's Eyes. I could counter that because we want to tangle things. I think that's honestly not a terrible idea. We don't have a lot else to Arcane Denial anyway. They just attack with these. I'm going to go for just a Moment's Peace anyway. Denial. Let's draw some more cards. They decide to. I will as well. And mill them for 1. Oh, he had to muddle the mixture. Okay, so actually let's preordain. We're just looking for like... Well, I guess I probably shouldn't turn down a Moment's Peace, but like, I kind of want to muddle for... I could get the other Jace's Erasure, but I think I just grab an Accumulated Knowledge. It's only draw 2 at the moment, but it still draws 2, mills them for 2. Seems pretty decent. Thornwood falls, and we can mill them out next turn with the Stream of Thought. Now they cast the Sentinel's Eyes. I guess that's fine. They only attack with 1 creature. This creature isn't even lethal by itself. They probably have an instant speed spell. It doesn't matter though. I'm just gonna Fog. I guess I'll scry 1. Why not? Preordain, perfect. We'll cast Preordain. Not gonna get the library. Land is fine. They're at 12 cards, so now I just need to Stream of Thought for 9 mana, and we will win the game. I'm not gonna shuffle anything back. All right, that's game 1. I mean, I think we did this before, like Counterspell. I don't even need Counterspell, I don't think. Like Thraben Charm is the only thing that they were able to do before, and I just killed it. All it did is set us back a little bit. I think I'd rather just like an extra land, make sure we're hitting enough land drops than the library. Everything else seems fine though. We do have 2 lands. We can also Brainstorm Lorien. It's not the best hand ever. This might be a mulligan, but we're going to keep it. Obviously, we could use a couple more lands. That's not bad. So I'm probably going to Brainstorm into Cycle the Lorien. Oh, they have 1 land and it was a tap land? Okay. Well, that's going to be pretty good for us, I think. Accumulated Knowledge. I don't think we need this muddle, and... I guess this Brainstorm, and honestly the Weather the Storm we probably don't need. Cycle the Lorien for our green source. Play that. Moment's Peace. Yeah, I mean, they do hit their second land. Okay. They could do 8 damage here if they get the right cards. Ethereal Armor. Okay. Plus a Sentinel's Eyes. That's 5. And Vigilance is going to make the Tangle worse. We get muddled back anyway. Okay. So we're going to leave obviously everything up, see if we need to go for the counter spell. Going to go up to 7 damage. I think 7 will take, because if we don't cast Fog here, I get to Growth Spiral and Accumulated Knowledge, which is really good. But if they go with like a Steady Footing in response here, I might not. But they don't, and just pass. So Growth Spiral, put in an island, Accumulated Knowledge. Okay, we are trying to hit a land drop here. Another Accumulated Knowledge. I think that's probably better than just brainstorming. Okay, I could brainstorm to hit a land, but then we might die. Let's just pass and cast a Fog. I think we'll discard the Stream of Thought. They can exile our graveyard with 2 accumulated knowledges. Oh, they're going to deal damage to the Trailblazer to make it lethal. That's funny. Very nice. All right, we'll discard the Stream of Thought. I mean, if they have a Mana Tithe or something, we definitely will be dead. I was going to say in some trouble, but a little more than in some trouble. But if not, we just have an outrageous amount of Fogs here. It looks like they're going to go for the Exile the Graveyard now, which is pretty good value. 2 accumulated knowledges and a Moment's Peace and a Stream of Thought. Not bad at all. I still think we'll be okay. I could have not discarded the Stream of Thought because they could have exiled it. I thought about that. Maybe the Muddle would have been a better discard, but I'm still not too concerned. Flashback Homestead Courage for a bigger guy. We're going to brainstorm now. Okay, I'm not hitting land drops. That is a little annoying. And we have to hold up our Fogs here. We are going to die, aren't we? All right, I'm just going to put back 2 cards I don't want. Accumulated Knowledge and Jace's Erasure. And we're going to Stream of Thought to mill them. Put back... Do I want to put anything back? I guess I'll put back the Jace's Erasure because this is my second Stream of Thought. I probably should have some win cons in the deck. I guess I'm not a true Turbo Fog player if I think that, but I'll put back the Brainstorm too. All right, we'll do that. And then hold up these. I mean, we have 3 Fogs here. If they don't have any more graveyard hate, we have 5 Fogs. So I'm still not feeling too bad at all. But, you know, drawing a little poorly. Go for the Moment's Peace. We also only have 1 green mana, so I can't use this Growth Spiral until we find more. Armadillo, Homestead Courage on it. Okay, so they're out of cards. There's another green. I should probably flashback this Moment's Peace, because if I cast this one from hand and then they just like top deck a Thraben Charm, it's pretty bad to lose both of those. So let's play it safe. Play a Plains, flashback the Homestead Courage. There's a Fog. I guess I'll go for the Growth Spiral now, just because if I get a Growth Chamber, then I could pick up a land and replay it, but we didn't. I even put in that extra land from the sideboard so that this wouldn't happen. Attacking for 13. We'll cast a Moment's Peace. Another creature. Weather the Storm. Okay, so I should transmute Muddle for Accumulated Knowledge is just a draw 2. Yeah, I think that's my best chance to get out of this. Obviously, I can't use it this turn because we're going to Tangle or Fog. Probably just Tangle for the mana efficiency, even though it only holds back one of their creatures for an extra turn. But that's going to be the case the whole game because of the Sentinel's Eyes. Another Armadillo. Jace's Erasure. I am going to Fog this turn, probably. So I could Jace's Erasure Accumulated Knowledge just to get a couple extra mills. The mills are really not that relevant at the moment, though. Well, they could be. We lost the Stream of Thought. Well, yeah, the Stream of Thoughts are not happening. Yeah, let's go for the Erasure, and I want to do this now so that I can hopefully hit a land drop. Nice. All right, Mill Train has started. We also do hit a land, cast a Fog, and now we're looking probably to set up a big Weather the Storm turn, which Preordain could help. I can't pass up a Fog. That's just like a time walk. And here's a land drop. Ethereal Armor, Moment's Peace, and Growth Spiral's just going to be cycling because we know the top card's a Fog. That's fine though. Mill them for 1, mill again. So here I think we're going to go for a Fog, Weather, Arcane Denial. Obviously better if they play an extra spell here. This is only 14, so I could also do less. No, it's fine. Let's just Fog, Weather the Storm, Arcane Denial. All right, there's another Weather and a Lorien. We actually are out of Fogs though. Oh, I could die here for sure. I guess I need a Lorien and hope to hit. I did not click to cycle that. That's crazy. Well, that's not great. Oh, this is my upkeep. That's why that happened. Okay, that upkeep stop is wrecking me. I don't know why that keeps happening. Oh, it was because the Arcane Denial. All that stuff happened in the upkeep. Well, that's really annoying. So now we can gain 9. We're up to 22, but this is 13. I think we're gonna die. Maybe if they don't attack with enough because they are worried about some stuff, they won't. But I did not mean to cycle that guy. Pretty unfortunate. Oh, and they have the Sand Step, so now they can attack with both of these. So this is 19. I mean, that's going to be enough. I have to, like, weather, and then I'm gonna die because they're gonna pump it. Okay, I mean, these would have been the 3 cards we drew from the Lorien, but we would have also gained 6 more life, and so then I could have drawn another 4 the following turn. A Brainstorm could have drawn us 3 more. It kind of looks like we might have died anyway, but that was definitely a bit of a mistake. Yeah, we missed a lot of land drops, and then we didn't hit the fogs quite with them. Are Mystics something good enough here? Because they chump block. They probably took out all their protection. They don't have trample. Actually, maybe these would be good enough. Maybe these are better than the Jaces and the Stream of Thoughts, just because it's kind of additional fogging and they can blow up our graveyard or our enchantments with Thraben Charm. We had obviously no problem with them in match 1, so I didn't really think I needed these in, but let's try it now. That was not great because no blue. This also doesn't have a lot of early blue, but we're going to keep it. And this upkeep stop is mostly for the campus, so until we have a campus, let's just get rid of that. Cycle for an island. Gonna just Growth Chamber here, then pass. There's a Homestead Courage, Vigilance, and flash it back. Okay, not the worst thing ever. Swing for 4, Preordain, Radiant Fountain. I think we're looking for card draw. We already have a couple land drops, but we're not gonna get rid of a fog, especially a 2-turn fog. Another Courage, all right. Hopefully they just flash that back this turn as well. They do. I could just gain 9 off of Weather the Storm, but I don't think that's what we want to do. I'm going to keep 8 alive here, though. Oh, nice. So I guess by foretelling this, I guess let's not foretell it, because then I can't flash back the Moment's Peace. I might want to do the Tangle, though. Well, they just have a million courages. Well, this way I could like hardcast the Behold if we want, or I could just go for the Moment's Peace. Or I could Weather. They're hitting for 12. I can Weather Arcane Denial here, and we're not dead. I think that's probably worth it. 12 isn't lethal, so go down to 10 here. We get to draw a bunch. Growth Spiral and Tangle. If they have another turn without Vigilance, not another turn, they haven't had a turn so far. If they end up having a turn without Vigilance, then Tangle can get them. Spirit Link is totally irrelevant, and another Spirit Link. Well, I guess less irrelevant when our win con is now Murmuring Mystics. So kind of annoying, actually, but Tangle is good. Growth Spiral, put this in. Accumulated Knowledge. We have a turn off, so let's just go for a Lorien and Behold the Multiverse, I suppose. Second Trailblazer, third Trailblazer. We have a Fog in the Grave, so I'm going to play a Desert, and I can potentially Fog and get off a big Weather the Storm if they cast a spell or 2 here. They just attack here, so I'm going to look for another Tangle, I guess. We don't need more lands, I don't think. Growth Spiral. We get a Fog. Okay, so I can actually cast the Fog from hand. It's a little riskier if they have the Thraben Charm like before, but this way I get to cast this Weather the Storm for a bunch. Brainstorm into Weather, just to gain a bajillion, especially because they're going to cast Emergent Scathed here. Brainstorm to Muddle. Could shuffle one of these away. Muddle finds Tangle, and Mystic's good. So actually I think we put back the Weather, because we're already going to get, what is this, 21 life off of this? That's pretty good. We are a little low on time, so let's be more aware of that. Here's a Mystic. We have a Moment's Peace from the grave, if I even need it, which I probably won't, because this just chump blocks. So let's Muddle for Accumulated Knowledge, actually. I don't even need a Tangle if I can just block everything, right? Oh, well, I forgot about the Emergent Scathed coming back. It's super relevant. It's not going to kill us here, but I guess a Tangle would have been better against the protection. That's pretty interesting. I definitely didn't make a misplay. I think we might be okay, but I guess if they get another protection spell, they just played a land, a plains. All right, here's Accumulated Knowledge, and block here, block here. I mean, we'll leave up Moment's Peace for the future. They do gain a bunch of life. That's true. So it's going to be hard to kill them. Okay, I might time out. We knew it had to happen at some point, right? There's a Brainstorm. Was hoping it wouldn't, but Accumulated Knowledge, and pass. Just attack with this guy. Well, for time, I feel like maybe I should Fog, but let's just chump block. Oh, right, they gain. Yeah, I should have fogged. Right. There's no way we can win now. That's my mistake. I should have fogged that. Well, we'll play till the bitter end, but I do believe that's going to be it, unfortunately. There's a Brainstorm. Put these back. And I guess another Murmuring Mystic is pretty good. Flashback Moment's Peace. We're gonna Moment's Peace, Arcane Denial to make some extra birds. Attack for 10. Cast a Lorien to make some more birds. Cast a Stream of Thought. Cast a Fog. We're gonna Weather the Storm. Arcane Denial, one of those. Arcane Denial, the other one. Make a bunch of birds. Draw cards in our upkeep. Wish that there were fewer clicks I could take to do all of this. We get our last Mystic. Attack with everybody, minus the Mystics. Play our last Mystic. Oh, we're at 8 cards in our deck. Well, that's going to be tough to make more birds then. If we draw out of our deck, they attack, we'll tangle. What do we have? 25 birds? This guy also doesn't untap now. Attack with everybody except the Mystics. I mean, I guess we have him dead next turn. We have a Fog in the Grave. I guess we did it somehow. Oh, look, the Wonder Weave now has flying. It can block one of our guys. Darn. How are we ever going to win then? And another Moment's Peace. Attack with everybody. Please stop trying to run into battle the Mystics. Swing at you with 25 birds, hit you with 24 of them. First strike, yep, regular damage. Okay, we actually won that one. I thought that I threw a little bit. Look at that. Well, we ended up with a 4-1, my first time ever playing Turbo Fog, only losing to, I mean, please let me know, Turbo Fog players, but I assume one of our worst matchups, a combo deck that has tutors for the combo pieces and redundant pieces, so even if we counter one, we lose to another one. I don't know exactly, but one against Mono White Heroic twice, and Dimir Terror and Blue Terror. I think all of those are really good matchups. Mono White Heroic, obviously they have to attack. Terrors also have to attack, but obviously they get a little bit of counter spells, which helps things a little bit. But yeah, overall, deck seemed to perform pretty well. I still can't say this is my favorite play style, but I'm always happy to play whatever deck you want me to for a minor fee. So if you want to see me play any other combo or hard control decks like this, go ahead and check out my Metafy down below. Thank you again to Guidonic for the deck donation, and thank you to my supporters, including my monthly $10 supporters and up: Howard Granger, Rafa Rodriguez, JD NPX, Tommaso Magnani, Apple Beta Pi, Halkaz, Cody Cowell, Ill Intent, and Emmanuel Mayer. I really appreciate your support, and I will see you all next time.